26th of the 1st, SCP-682, the Hard-to-Destroy-Reptile, is a large skeletal crocodile beast that hates all living things and cannot be killed. 682 has a large open maw that is always covered in blood from his previous rampage. 682 also has a long tail with a pointed end ready to stab. It has large dragon-like feet with huge claws, ready to cut straight through his next victim. It also has exposed bone throughout his body, showing how many times he has tried to be killed. But first, what is the SCP Foundation? SCP stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect. The Foundation is an organization that contains objects and strange entities that violate the natural law, and to keep them out of public eye or the wrong hand. Since 682 has infinite restorative ability, the SCP Foundation finds it hard to keep him contained. That's why the Containment Procedure is the following. 682 is to be held in a large, reinforced tank, and to be filled with acid, so 683 will infinitely destroy and repair itself forevermore. The following story is a shortened version of Lord Blackwood and the Great Tarasque Hunt of 83, written by Smapti. Please read the full version in the description. May 4th, 1883. One night, Lord Theodore Thomas Blackwood gets a letter in the mail inviting him to come slay a ferocious Tarasque with the reward of 5 million English pounds. He accepts. May 20th, 1883. Theodore arrives in Avignon and meets up with his team. May 21st, 1883. They arrive in the battle-worn city of Avignon, young soldiers patrolling hard at work, looking battle-scarred, although they have seen horrors beyond human imagination. Theodore asks the soldiers if they had seen the Tarasque, but none of them has seen it up close. For those who had, well, dead men tell no tales. May 22nd, 1883. Theodore and his men found the Tarasque asleep and bathing in the midday sun. They drew straws to figure out who fired the first shot, and of course Theodore chose the shortest. Theodore aimed and shot the top of the beast's head clean off, and yelled in delight, but as soon as they did, the thought-to-be-dead beast erupted back to life, and they ran away back to safety. May 28th, 1883. The team came up with a plan to trap the Tarasque and annihilate her before the restorative process could even begin. Later the same day, they set up the trap, a large deep pit with hundreds of large spikes tipped with poison. Now all they have to do is wait until sunrise. May 29th, 1883. The plan started without a single fault. A man on horseback shot the Tarasque, leading it into the pit, and sure enough it fell in and was impaled upon every angle. Theodore and his men came running out with many different weapons, shooting it until it was merely dust and bone. They pulled the skull from its grave and filled the rest of it back up with the earth to send it back to hell. Tomorrow they will return to Avignon to show the skull and gain their reward. May 30th, 1883. Avignon held the group as heroes and threw the whole town a celebration around the skull, which looked whiter and more flesh stuck to it than the night before, but this had to be simply an illusion. They were getting their pictures with the skull when one of the members of the party suggested he took a photo with his head between the skull's maw. Imagine their reaction when the beast's head fell and cut the man's head completely off, and lifted his head once again to take another bite. Their head was alive, growing flesh and scales rapidly upon its skeletal face. Outside, the rest of the Tarasque was bounding through the streets, shaking off dirt from its dead body and shaking off any bullet as if it was immune to what killed it mere hours before. Afterwards, I fled back to my home, only to have another letter waiting for me. This one an offering of an alliance between me and the Royal Foundation of Security, Containment, and Protection of Anomalous Things. Now, I highly suggest watching my introduction/first video to get this next part, but basically I'm a multiversal traveler, hunting down these creatures, so, yeah. During my final days of working at the SCP Foundation, I was lucky enough to witness a termination attempt at SCP-682. The idea was to drop a nuclear bomb on an island with the only inhabitant, SCP-682. Since I could survive in a nuclear environment, I was the only one that could actually check if it worked. It kind of did. SCP-682 still had bits of him around, and the top of his skull was wedged inside a rock, which I found hilarious. I laughed, but that's not a very good thing to do at 682. After he regrew, he broke out of containment on the hunt for me. I had to teleport all the way back home, and I don't think I'll ever go back, because he will stop at nothing to have my head. Thank you for watching, everyone. In the description, there is links to the original wiki page and the story I stole from. Please like the subscribe button and press the button. Okay, goodbye.